Welcome back to MMG. I think it's the perfect song. It's very suiting and perfect for the times we're living today. Oh boy. First of all, not financial advice. Consult your licensed financial advisor before doing anything. Stocks extremely volatile, extremely risky. Do not invest in anything you're not willing to lose or lose sleep over. Have stops somewhere in place, emotions out, and it's extremely volatile times and crazy times. I've never seen anything like this. Listen, to the millennials and the Gen X's, obviously this world is ran by psychopaths and boomers, right? I'm just going to talk about everything. We'll cover some news and then we'll look at some charts. So I change my mind when I come across information and, evidence. And so because we've been on top of this nano zombie, right, for over 2 months now, we will be the first to see what it truly is in the end. Meaning we're not panicked anymore. We were a while ago, but not anymore. And we could clearly see what's really going on because our primitive brains, the primitive part of our brains, isn't being overwhelmed with cortisol and adrenaline and fear, right? So we could easily see what's happening here. And what am I talking about? So, I mean, if you follow me on my Twitter or if you're in the newsroom, then you know what I'm talking about. For the past 2 days, I've sort of... I'm taking it less seriously, the nano zombie. Because... I mean, when I run the data that they're giving us... It should be way worse by now. From their data. Like, I'm talking infections like 5 mil, which is possible, but fatalities would be like, oh, much more. It'd be almost 300 million. So, by the data they give us and what they're saying. So, not just that, I mean, MSM has been hyping this non-stop. I mean, literally, we have anchors, like, sitting in their bathrooms. Their backdrops look like they're poor, and they all make massive amounts of money. It's psychological, right? It's to scare everyone. Now, why would they do this? Well, when everyone is scared, that's when you get things done. That's when you can push through things that'll take away your rights. So never let a crisis. Never, ever let it go to waste. Now, I don't think it's as bad as we thought it was just a week or two ago. Now, it's still bad. It definitely exists. I just don't know how fast it's truly spreading. And I also don't know how fatal it really is, basically. It doesn't seem as fatal. Like, there aren't that many in the U.S. Not yet, at least. I also see more reports coming out that that young people are actually more at risk now than the elderly. I don't know, guys. It's all over the place. But right now, I did 2 days ago also post this stuff that might... It's not like... I'm not saying... I don't really want to say that word. But chloroquine or whatever it's called, it seems very promising. South Korea used it. And I think this is going to blow over, and I believe we just hit peak panic. Now, I'm watching Trump, right? press conference, but he's on call with every governor in the U.S. And it was just absolutely insane. I not all of them were bad. I mean, some of them were not asking for anything. But there was, I'd say about half of them were like, oh, our golf course industry was hit hard. We're going to need a bailout. This needs a bailout. That needs a bailout. Like every state, it's a free-for-all welfare. It's insane. And, I mean, it was unbelievable. Just listening to him. These are hippie boomers, guys. Just asking for just bailouts, endless bailouts. They don't care about their kids, grandkids. I mean, think about that generation. They had it the best, the easiest ever. And it shows, and they're throwing the rest of us, the younger, under the bus. Not just through, and not just at Wall Street and all these corporations. They're taking full advantage of this situation. Everyone's getting a bailout. Everyone. Everything's getting bailed out. And the consequences of this is just going to be unbelievable. We're probably going to see, if we don't see hyperinflation, it's definitely going to be massive inflation, stagflation, pretty much. This is pretty much on the backs of the nano zombie. We pretty much just did MMT. And it's not even done yet. Just watch, they're going to do more. More bailouts in QE. And I don't know what to say about Orange Man, but he's definitely no conservative or libertarian. Are his hands tied? I don't know, guys. He's screwed if he doesn't, and he's screwed if he does. At this point, it's just unbelievable the amount of money that has been printed in the past 2 years. Here's the tweet from Peter Schiff, and it's like 4.6 trillion. And they're not even done because they're adding like $1 trillion a day. I mean, this is like one of the guys commented, C-130s dropping money, just pallets of money. It's pretty much it. And metals haven't reacted yet. Oh, but they will. They will. Just be patient, guys. I mean, they can't go much lower with all this. And this isn't just the U.S., it's the whole world doing MMT, modern monetary theory, which is essentially just printing money endlessly. And I don't know. It's insanity. Also, I mean, there's states now with, they're activating their soldiers, and it's all being overhyped, I believe. At this point, they're taking full advantage of it. And it's serious, but it's not that serious. And eventually you have to let it burn through. I mean, if this lasts 2 weeks, it won't be that bad. If it lasts longer, then what's more threatening to everyone, is what's going to happen to the global economy. You can't sacrifice the global economy for this, because that will have way more severe consequences. I mean, it's going to happen now anyways, but I would rather have a slow motion, just deterioration going towards Venezuela than just like by July it's pure Mad Max, all right? Because that's what all this nonsense is going to lead to. Because right now, all of the bureaucrats and politicians are flexing their muscles, right? This is what they want. They want to show the public how they reacted, and they're the saviors, and without them, it would be just chaos. When in reality, with all of this that they're doing, is just going to make things worse economically and every other way humanly possible. As so far in the U.S., everyone's been pretty orderly, and there hasn't been anything people haven't been going crazy besides going a little crazy for toilet paper. And yeah, you're going to get, out of 330 million people, yeah, you're going to get a few people fighting over some toilet paper in some stores. We haven't seen anything. Nothing. Listen, guys, the sheep are pretty big. The sheep are cowards these days. The masses, they're not going to. I'm not even yeah. Once they go hungry, yeah, but it's the reaction that I'm worried about in the economy, not so much the nano zombie. All right. I think this is going to blow over in the next few weeks. All right, so let's look at some news, then I'll look at some charts. I think the market's starting to price in that this is going to end soon. I think we just hit peak nano zombie, and I could be wrong because there's all kinds of things getting floated out there. But the fact that MSM is really hyping it up, everyone's hyping it up, everyone's taking full advantage of this. Now I know for sure that this isn't as serious as we thought it was, with all the misinformation and whatnot. So let's look at some news. So global deleveraging will cause a depression. Pretty much. Everyone's going to deleverage. All hedge funds, firms. They would have to literally, the global central banks would have to print like 100 trillion or more for everyone to have that risk on appetite. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to get a huge dead cat bounce and rebound, right? So jobless claims are, listen, a lot of small businesses, and there's another relief package, bailout, or QE and money injection coming, and checks being written for small businesses. If anyone deserves a bailout, small business. It's not huge corporations buying back their stocks so the CEOs could retire with golden parachutes right before the. It's record since 2018 until now. Record amounts of CEOs have been just bailing out and floating away in their golden parachutes after doing billions of corporate buybacks, because if the shares of the company keeps going higher, they get bigger bonuses and then they exit. And the turnover rate for CEOs on corporations has been unbelievable. Now, listen, guys, this isn't free market capitalism. This is the result of free money from the Fed, from artificially low interest rates. In a free market, there wouldn't be corporate buybacks like this. Only during special situations, the free market will sniff this out, and no one would allow it, because interest rates would be higher and they wouldn't be able to do it anyways. All right. The bond market's just sniffing blood. The bond market, the balance sheet of the Fed is so huge, they're going to be holding all the bags. They're going to be holding stocks because now it's collateral for the repo operations, which is debt monetization straight up. QE, this stuff's never been done before. And then what else? The bond market's why would you hold any bonds? And now they're floating out 50-year bonds. This is insanity. The desperation's just off the wall, off the chains here by pretty much the government to fund itself and all the money printing. The Fed's going to be holding a balance sheet of over 20 trillion in probably the end of this year. That's how I see it, because that's the only way, because they're going to have to buy everything. They're going to hold the bags on everything. Home mortgages, auto loans, student loans. I don't know. Treasuries and bonds. I if I posted some good videos in the newsroom that go into detail about all this, because I don't want to make videos every day that are hour-long videos. But for the guys who've watched that, they understand how insane this is. I mean, the repricing of all assets, it's much lower than they are right now. It's just right now, temporarily, we might see a bounce or some sort of rebound. I'm not saying a V bottom recovery or anything like that. I'm just saying a bounce or a decent sized rebound, but not making new highs or anything. So stocks are down 50% from its highs as world loses 25 trillion. And where did all that go? Well, temporarily it went to bonds and cash. If we could just get maybe one or two into metals, we're going to see fireworks, even for the mining companies. Now, some mining companies are going to not do as good as others, depending on their region and location. But overall, I think this nano zombie, it's going to stay with us, and you're going to hear about it forever. But I think we'll get it under control, and it's just going to become another like seasonal cold. You know what I mean? Because listen, guys, more people should have passed away by now if the numbers they're telling us are true, but they're not. Also, I mean, China and the US, I mean, they're really poking each other. Like I said, guys, I gave you guys my theory in the last 2-3 videos, and that's pretty much coming true. Was it accident? Was it on purpose? It doesn't matter. They definitely used it, and they definitely covered it up just long enough so it would affect the US, because China knows how over-leveraged the US is. Not just that, they were all dumping US debt and treasuries. So it's economic warfare. And now we see crazy stuff like ships in the sea, Navy, being like attacked with all kinds of weird stuff like lasers and hacking, and that's also extremely concerning. Usually when you see global like depressions happen, what happens afterwards is even worse. You actually get hot type wars and battles, right? Next, stimulus deal to include rapid injection of cash for small businesses. I mean, it's going to be, and this is just the beginning. They're going to keep doing this. Every American's about to get $1,000 or $2,000 check. I don't know. I can't even. I mean, it's great for us. We're going to buy metals with it, right? I would buy some physical silver. Fed boosts daily QE by 66% overnight to record 75 billion in one day. Yeah. I mean, this is unprecedented stuff. Fed expands dollar swap lines. Now, for them to talk about this, they never talk about this. And this is when central banks are swapping like cash amongst each other globally to keep everyone liquefied and propped up. They're turning money around, and they do it so if one's weaker than the other, they're bailing each other out. That's why I played that song beginning of this video. It's a Ponzi. New Zealand, the Aussie. I mean, they have to keep each other's currencies somewhat away from crashing. Now listen, gold and silver in US dollars, not rallying, but in foreign currencies all around the world, hitting all-time highs. Keep that in mind, guys. Metals against equities and bonds, It's pretty much at all-time highs if you price it in that way. Against everything else physical in the world, it's kept up the strongest. Huge sign of strength. We're just not seeing the rally in the stocks yet and on the futures market in dollar terms because of the giant margin calls. Well, now I'm thinking we might get a rebound. I don't know how long it's going to last in equities, and metals probably will rally. I mean, we're going to look at the charts, right? So let's look at the charts. So I posted this actually 2 days ago, and it's pretty much on target. This is the Dow Jones on the daily. So I'm looking at a huge rebound for major support down here. I mean, we hit the zero. Well, that's where I put this fib retracement. So maybe a bounce back to 38.2. It all depends. If they come out with more QE, it might even go back up to 50 or the 61.8 fib retracement. But that's about it. It's not going to go back up higher than 61.8. I don't believe so. If it even gets to 38.2, then I would be that would seem more likely, right? So around 22,500 on the Dow. So let's look at the dollar. It had a huge rally. It tested the upper resistance area. Oh, I lost my drawings. I guess I'll draw them again. Sometimes I forget to save new drawings that I make for the private group, and then it would have been great for these videos. Hold on, give me a second. That's a little low. Alright, well, it broke above major resistance. If you take this to a weekly, I noticed there's a huge crap. Alright, I don't want to... So you can see there's a cup and handle. This is the cup, and this is the handle. It would look like a mug, right? So on the weekly, it looks bullish, TA-wise, for the dollar. I'm not sure if it's going to rally higher or if it's going to break down from here because of the massive money printing, unprecedented money printing. It might go higher because globally everyone took out debt in dollars, and the milkshake theory, right? It might still be in play, and I might have been wrong. I said it's probably over and the dollar is gonna drop because of all the QE, but because it's not, maybe it's still in play. I don't know. It's tricky. But it doesn't matter. Metals, they're going to go up if the dollar goes up. They're going to go up even higher if the dollar goes down. It doesn't matter at this point. I don't know how long this milkshake theory, meaning corporations, internationals, and other countries who took out debt in dollars, how long they're going to demand dollars so they can make their debt payments in dollars, the interest on their debt. And that's what's keeping the dollar higher. And that's also why they're getting away with all of this printing, and we haven't seen a huge drop in the dollar. All right? I wouldn't mind if the dollar goes up higher and then metals break out anyway, because that means not only do we, in the U.S., we keep our purchasing power, but that means metals are exploding globally in value, and so if you were to take profits from, let's say, mining stocks, which huge opportunities right now with mining ETFs and stocks, huge, biggest ever I've ever seen. But if, let's say, on some swing trades we were to take some profits, like a month or 2 months, whatever from now, after some huge moves up, but the dollar's still high, like around 100 or a little bit above it or whatever, that means not only did you have massive gains, but you have massive purchasing power. And you could go out and buy things. I'm sorry about the phone, but you could, and you could buy more physical, right? Or it's like the best case scenario. If you make your money, your wages or your business or whatever, or you trade in USD. All right, so let's go back to markets. I mean, the VIX, I think it's had a good run, and it's going to drop as we get this bounce and rebound. The 10-year yield is back above 1. It's at 1.12. The bond market, bond vigilantes are waking up. I talked about that in the last video. And the bond market, remember, it's always like much larger than the equities markets. It's gonna load. Let me close some windows here. It's not loading. Sorry. Oh, great. All right, here's S&P 500. Daily chart is on a 9 buy signal, TDI. That's the reason why I think we're going to get a bounce. And I think we hit peak nano zombie hysteria. It might get a little worse, but now that everyone is pretty much, restaurants and everything is shut down, I think it's going to significantly slow it down to the point where it'll be all right. And plus, the way with the massive testing and the testing centers, the drive-through testing centers, I mean, the U.S. and Trump, they're finally doing the right things, and they're pretty much copying, mimicking South Korea. Actually, they're even talking about like things that could, I don't want to say that word, but things that make the nano silver go, or the nano zombie go away. But that too, right? There's like certain words that'll trigger the algos. All right, guys. Look, this is perfect on the weekly. That S&P 500 hit my blue equilibrium line. It sliced through it, but you know, it was crazy. The drops and the panic. But now it's bouncing above it. And if we could just get above it tomorrow, above 2,400, close above 2,400 tomorrow on the S&P 500 on the weekly here, then the bounce, the rebound I'm expecting, which could be that huge bull trap on the Wall Street cheat sheet that I showed you guys in my last video, right? Keep that in mind as well. So this was, now that the trade is over, I took profits on this yesterday and the day before. I forgot. Listen, I had a long week. I had an ear infection. Really bad one. Like inner. And nothing worked. I had to get antibiotics. And I've had like a full head like migraine from the pain. And it's been a rough week for me, guys. But it's finally gone. Anyways, so I literally bought this at the bottom. We bought this trade 3 weeks ago to short the markets because we saw it coming, and I went really heavy, like a lot of money. And the gain was, I took profits a little early, around before $30. And my gain was around 86%. I also took some profits around 26. That was a 68% gain. Now, I put call options. So my gains were like hundreds of percent, right? And I had massive gains, profits. And that's like the types of gains you see in The Big Short. The movie, The Big Short. Now, of course, I was greedy and an idiot, and I lost a lot on mining stocks and leveraged ETFs. I didn't lose anything because I haven't sold them, but I had like a massive drawdown. Now, this is just one of the trades. I had like 10 short positions on. Some of the other ones, like the cruise liners that I shorted 3 weeks ago, were also hundreds and hundreds, like over 1,000% gain. And because I put puts on those, put options. So it covered the massive losses in the leveraged 3x bull ETFs on mining stocks. And not just that, it covered all of it, like the margin calls that I was getting, because I ran out of cash because I was shorting everything, and my leveraged bull ETF was tanked like 95%. But it covered all the losses. And I told you guys, if you don't have like 6 years experience, do not trade them. And even if you do, you might get wrecked. And I didn't get wrecked because I made so much off of the options from all the short positions, which covered it all. And I still have a ton of money to buy the dip on it. So it's strategy. You can't do just one thing, guys. The one thing with trading is do not, and that's my fault. And I tell you guys, don't ever put too much into one trade, especially if it's leveraged, because if it goes the wrong way, not only can you lose a lot, but you could lose more than you even have in your entire account. Because here's the thing, with that 3x bull ETF, where is it? Let me pull it up. So I'll pull it up. So I bought it when it was around $30, right? And then I took profits up here, bought this dip. Okay, now we're over here. All right. So I bought it down here, remember, back in 2019, took profits up here, accumulated over here, rode it all the way up, and this became, it started out as 5% of my entire portfolio, and then it turned into like 60% of my portfolio because of the massive gains. And then I became greedy, and I didn't take profits. Back over here when it was around $60, 68. I did take some profits up here when it hit 100 and something, but then I bought back the dip again around 60, 68, because I saw that gold and silver was not falling. It was holding up strong versus the rest of the entire market, which was having record-breaking crash drops, right? So I was being greedy. And then all of a sudden gold and silver just dumped. And then this thing just, everyone got a margin call, panicked, and it fell 95% or whatever. That was my fault. I should have gotten out. I should have seen it coming. But sometimes you're looking at it and you're greedy, and that's how you see things, right? Oh yeah, by the way, here's a great technical thing I have noticed over the years. When you get okay, so you get that cup and handle. The cup and handle gives you a high probability breakout. But what happens usually after these cup and handle breakouts is you get a reversal. I've noticed that. You get that a lot. You get a huge reversal. I should have saw that coming. Anyways, it is what it is. But it doesn't matter because now we have massive opportunities, I believe, in the mining stocks and ETFs and some leveraged things, but only for experienced. But listen, I mean, if you're not experienced, that's fine. You don't have to do leveraged ETFs. You can just do ETFs and you'll be fine. Or if you want to be extremely conservative, get some physical right now. if you could find them, because they've ran out. So the physical is running out. It's drying up on the physical market on the spot for the spot price, meaning the futures market's about to break, and we could see a moonshot anytime now. Now, here's gold on the monthly chart. This is concerning a little bit. On the monthly, it doesn't look that great because the MACD is about to cross to the downside, and it's still overextended on the oscillators. But when you look at the weekly, it doesn't look that bad. The RSI is reset to the downside. The MACD's already crossed. Maybe a little more downside looking at the weekly. I hope it doesn't drop back down to the 200-week moving average, because that would take us back to 1300, and that would suck. Although if it did do that, I would just get out of my current positions. A lot of my call options would expire worthless, and I would lose a lot. But that would buy you the biggest opportunity. I don't think this market's going to give us that buying opportunity. If it did, I will go take out a loan. I don't care. I will max out credit cards, and I'll sell my kidney. But I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go to a 3-day chart. See what that's showing us. So the 3-day chart's oversold. It's a 4 count to the downside. I'm hoping this doesn't turn into a 9 count to the downside, but it might. And gold might stay below 1500 for a few more weeks. And then it'll get a 9 buy and then rally according to the 3-day chart. But that's ignoring all the fundamentals, the news, and what the hell's going on with the world just printing endless fiat money, currency. Not money, it's currency. Now here's what I'm excited about. The daily chart. The daily chart's on an 8 count to the downside. Tomorrow we get that 9 buy signal on gold, which should give us that huge rebound reversal, right? Back up. Now, how high will it go? I'm hoping it makes new highs. Will it do that? I don't know. At least get us back above 1500 somewhere. I'm hoping to at least test 1600, right? Where is it? Keep forgetting to save these. So I have to keep drawing them over again. At least back up to test the 50% fib retracement, which would take us to about 1570. But that's ignoring what's going on fundamentally and economically. I'm hoping we just moonshot and make new highs. We should, especially if they do another round of QE. So there you go. Boom. Maybe trade sideways. Back up. Even better would be just crap. Hold on. But this wouldn't surprise me. Maybe this, right? And then we break back down and trade sideways. But a moonshot, right? Not surprising considering the balance sheet of the Fed, right? I mean, common sense, economics, Jesus. Economics means, come on, this should happen. Just shoot straight up. But honestly, guys, my weakness is you can't ever underestimate how dumb Wall Street is. All right, let's go to silver. Silver on the daily hit a 9 count today or yesterday. So I'm expecting the same move in silver. Not just that, if we go back to the weekly, remember my golden cross blue line? Well, it sort of got violated. because the largest point drop in history happened last week. Or was it Monday? I can't remember. No, it happened this week. I'm telling you guys, I had a horrible ear infection, and it's like this entire week was really fuzzy for me. I'm like zoned out because of the pain, because it was really painful. It was like that throbbing pain, and it was nonstop. Every second, every minute of every day for the past like 4 or 5 days, my head was just throbbing, and then I needed antibiotics. So I expect the price to shoot straight back up and revisit the blue line, which will take us back to $1,600 or $16. And then after that, maybe some sideways and then higher. But that's going to take some weeks to play out. I mean, because it got crushed. It was crushed. Anyways, a good indication to see if these, if we're about to go into a massive raging bull market in metals mining stocks, is if the mining stocks rally while gold and silver futures prices don't, or they dip. And I saw that again today. Gold wasn't really moving up much, doing nothing, and the mining stocks started catching bids. So the smart money knows. They know. And I think after the S&P does this, right? Does its bull trap thing and then sells off again, I think around this area we're going to see massive, massive moves. But even as it does rally, maybe in the next few weeks and months, we're going to see a nice bull market in metals. And then probably in the summer, another pullback correction. And then, but it's too early to even think that far because it's very volatile and the times are strange, you know. So we also have an election coming up. Times are strange. Anyways, looking at Apple, Alphabet, JP, Berkshire, I mean, these things barely fell compared to the rest of the market, which is a damn shame. So, you know, they're going to get they're getting a bounce from today, and possibly we'll see tomorrow, because tomorrow's Take Back Friday, meaning a lot of people do sell Fridays because they don't want to hold over the weekend, especially right now with this nano zombie thing. And it's really not the nano zombie. It's these stupid bureaucrats shutting down everything separately in the states. Because you have to remember, the United States is made up of states, and the states can shut themselves down no matter what the federal side thinks. And I don't think they have to have soldiers come out and have a complete like roadblocks and shutdown. That's just that's flexing your muscle, your police state. All right, and I think Americans are going to get pissed off about this. They should, because there's no need. Everyone's self-quarantining anyways. Everyone's home, guys. Nobody's working. Everyone's just at home. They're taking walks around the neighborhood. Everything's fine. The stores are getting reshelved. Everything's calm and fine. Relax. And no, they're going to have, I don't want to say the certain words. And that's because they're power tripping. In my opinion. They're power tripping. They want to show the public what the power they have. And by the way, guys, think about the paradox of everything that's happening right now. The elites are not in control. They think they are. They're loving this. They're really getting off on it. It was well played. But they're not that smart. There's a paradox to everything. Right now, people became preppers for the rest of their lives. They're going to want more freedom and more self-protection, and they want to take more self-control of their lives. And this is also going to cause less trust in the control structure. You'll see. I know they're going to try to spin this so people have more faith in the control structure. But honestly, in the end, in the long term, this will make people more self-sufficient and will want more freedom. Because every action has the opposite reaction. The pendulum, that puppy's always swinging back. So if this was all contrived and they want to take max, they want, the people in charge, they want to take max advantage of the current scenario for their own advantage, so they could, feel powerful and power trip, and it's not actually going to play out like that in the long run. Because I've been studying this stuff for a long time, and the psychological games that are being played, the effect of them actually become less effective over time. Because every time they give people adrenaline hits, well, if they try to pull something like this next time, people are going to be like, no. We've been through this. No. We'll be fine. So there won't be overreaction next time. Alright guys, smash some likes, leave anything in the comment section. I will respond, and please share my videos. It's really the only way this channel is going to grow. And I'll see you guys. Check out all the links below the video. Check out my website. It's probably the best stuff you'll get for the price, and I'm not promising if it'll pay for itself, but it might. You're gonna learn a lot, if anything. And yeah, join the private group. Until next time.